Welcome everyone to Cinema Spotlight. Diving into Steven Spielberg's career, I will be talking about the Lost World Jurassic Park. Stick around towards the end of the video to let me know your opinion of this movie. Love it or hate it, I'd love to know. With that said, I'm gonna jump right on in. So the Lost World Jurassic Park is 4 years after the events of the first film, where John Hammond invites Ian Malcom to go on an expedition to a second island where the original Jurassic Park was supposed to be. There are to observe and look at these dinosaurs in their natural habitat without constrictions. Of course, there's more to it than that, but this is soon thrown by the wayside when Ingen, led by John Hammond's nephew, arrive at the island to take these said dinosaurs back home for a bigger, broader vision. After barely remembering my experience in the theaters for the first film and then subsequently watching the film throughout the rest of my life, I of course was exposed to the second film. I don't remember how, but all I know is that I was just downright fascinated by it, if not a tad bit disturbed by certain scenes. I'd talk about those scenes all the time, too, so you'd think I wouldn't be disturbed at all. I remember loving it, yet feeling particularly disturbed by the atmosphere this film presented. The overall effect of this film is to really make you feel like this is a dinosaur movie unchained, and this is the effect it gives, and it's truly atmospheric. You feel like you are with these characters in the big, gigantic forest, walking along, waiting for the next threat or spectacle to show up. The overall tone feels raw and unfiltered, giving the situations a more intense vibe, so when characters die, it can be rather gruesome, and if I know anything about Spielberg, he can do gruesome. Which brings me to one death in particular in this film. I won't give away who it is, just in case you haven't seen it and you want to know, but it's basically an overturned trailer and 2 T-Rexes. I didn't like the scene. Regardless of the disturbing factors of this movie, this is actually really not a bad sequel. Granted, I find some flaws mostly with the pacing, where one scene to the next happened rather too seamlessly, and you realize passage of time has happened. Well, I mean, while that's throughout the film itself, I think it's mostly in the third act. Returning to this movie, the third act, which is a really big staple in some people's memories, especially my own, seems awfully rushed. After the ship crashes in San Diego, there is very little mystery, and it becomes a big, dumb, popcorn special effect extravaganza that is just over as soon as it began. This movie probably had the potential of being one of the best sequels ever made. The story beats were all there. The setup from the first film carries into the second, giving you more pomp and circumstance to why the sequel needed to be made for a story that had a lot more to say. But instead, directions were chosen and to go into different aspects and elements that sort of took me out of the movie, making me feel like comedy was more pushed in favor of the dramatic prowess. For that, I honestly felt The Lost World Jurassic Park was just alright, but I found myself liking it in some parts, but I wouldn't own on any platform. Needless to say, Jeff Goldblum is always fun to watch. Julianne Moore is gorgeous, as she is an amazing actress, and she was pretty cool in this movie, but I just wish there was more to her character than a really smart, headstrong female filled with exposition dumps of facts and past histories with Ian Malcom's character. Everyone else is fine too, I guess, but I mean, there's just not a lot of closure between characters and their involvement in this story. Alright guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you have seen The Lost World Jurassic Park, let me know down in the comments. Even if you haven't, let me know if you plan on seeing it at some point. Be kind, be reasonable, and let's talk. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe, and of course, notifications are always a plus. I hope you all have a fantastic and wonderful day. Until next time.